joining me. My name is Ari Greenbaum. I'm one of the co-founders here at conXpros. Today I want to focus on our lead credit policy. It's one of the key differentiators between us and a lot of our competitors out there, and one of the primary reasons that our clients have come to love our service so much. So I want to take you through in detail so you can understand any of the gray areas, answer any questions, and have complete clarity about what our lead credit policy is based on and how it impacts you. So to start things off, it's very easy to find. You can find it at the bottom, the footer of every single page on conXpros.com. Easy link there to follow, or by going to how it works and clicking on the link for the lead credit policy, and you'll get to the page that you're seeing on your screen now. Right at the top, let people understand what our general definition is. We believe that you should only pay for a genuine opportunity. Now, again, if it does not meet that definition, our goal is to be able to credit that back to you. Obviously, there are some areas of question and some gray areas, and that's the purpose here to help clarify. But with that being said, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit through the policy here, and you'll notice right off the bat, we let people know what our window for reporting is. We do allow a period of 5 days after the delivery of the lead, so the day of delivery plus 5 days, essentially a total of 6 days. And we do this for a reason. The quicker we can have data back and have feedback, whether positive or negative, we're able to go ahead and make adjustments, or what we call optimizations for your account, and ensure you're getting a better quality lead as time continues on. So we do encourage our clients to do so, and we put that window in place in order to encourage that. The other side of it is also to make sure that you're getting your credits back as soon as possible, because again, they are your monies and we want them to be able to work for you. Now, diving right into the policy, you'll notice that the language here says the following situations will be credited. To get into some of those, some of them are very basic. They're similar to what it would be with any lead company: incorrect contact information, non-working phone numbers, and you'll notice here on the policy itself great detail as far as helping you understand what each categorization means. Wrong category, again, if it's not the kind of job that you are expecting us to be sending you, meaning a roofer getting a lead for siding or getting a lead for gutters, that's not a roofing lead. Clearly, it's a wrong category. Wrong location, rare case, but again, homeowners sometimes have multiple properties, and as a result of having multiple properties, they will often put in the wrong address or wrong zip code, and it gets matched to the wrong person. So again, this is something that is out of our control, but is something that we will do our best to credit you back, because it is not a real opportunity for the territory you're paying us to send you. Duplicate leads, they can happen. Our policy is that as long as it's for the same project within the last 30 days, we will go ahead and we will credit that back to you. Again, different tasks, we only do exclusive leads, and if you're the only person getting two types of tasks and the same homeowner made the request, clearly that's not something we would credit back, because we're creating two opportunities for you. Anyone testing or soliciting through the system, that's not something that is someone that is looking for hiring a contractor. Similar case to someone looking for work. This is a case not authorized to hire. Now again, this is for projects that require homeowner approval. Not every project does. Pest control you can do as a renter, so it's not necessarily an essential for that category. But to put a new roof on a home, yes, you do need to be authorized, in other words, the homeowner. So if someone is not authorized or not able to do the work because of that reason, obviously we would credit that back as well. In a case where the work was already done or completed prior to us delivering you the lead, a rare case, but if it does happen, please let us know about it. We'll have to investigate why it got to you, but at the end of the day, it's not an opportunity, as the work was already done. The customer didn't make a request. Again, when you speak to someone, you talk to them on the phone, and they say they did not make a request looking for a quote, which is an odd case, but if it does happen, obviously it's not an opportunity. Let us know about that, and that is something we will credit back for. Anything that would be misleading or inaccurate advertisement, we do not work with any sources, any affiliates that utilize those kind of techniques. But in the case where you are getting reported that, let us know about it. If found to be true, we will go ahead and credit that back. It's a rarity, but if it did happen, then we will let you know. The other sides of things is do not call request. This is a bit of a gray area as well, because the folks that are submitting their information do acknowledge that they are, if they are on a DNC list, do not call list, that is not going to impact. They've given consent for us to be contacting them anyways. But when someone is telling you, I don't want to be on a call list, do not call me, put me on that list, it goes into that same category. They didn't really make a request. They're not looking for a quote from a contractor. Clearly, there's no opportunity there. The last one on this list is non-contact, and this is a very important one, so I'll spend a couple extra seconds, and you'll notice here in the policy itself that it is a bit more lengthy in the description. Why? Because we're the only company that I'm aware of that does credit back purely for non-contact. We do have a minimum requirement. We require that you are calling instantly within minutes of receiving that lead at worst, making a second call on day one. On day one as well, sending either a text or email. We do prefer text because we know how successful they are, especially in 2020. Day 2 and day 3 also making a phone call. Now, if you've met those minimum criteria and you still have not made contact with that lead, yes, you can report it back to us. The only time we will not credit that back is when, through our own lead verification team, we've been able to make contact. Our process starts after the lead is delivered to you, 30 to 120 minutes after. So obviously, if we were able to make contact and you weren't, it is a contactable lead, so we cannot give credit for that reason. Now, as I mentioned, our verification team, I went ahead and made sure our credit policy addressed that as well. And as we say, we'll proactively credit leads when a result of our verification team's effort, and we find the following. And there's a couple of cases here, same cases I've mentioned before: invalid or incorrect contact info, non-working number, not having a claim to not have submitted the request, seeking employment, duplicate lead, someone testing the system. And occasionally, there are times, I should say more than occasionally, that a credit is requested by our clients and it's already been credited back by our verification teams. They are aggressively trying to get information about these projects and make sure that you are getting the help you need. So again, that is something that we proactively credit back. There are cases that we do not credit back, and that's what it mentions here. They are not eligible for lead credits because there are circumstances out of our control as a lead provider. For example, you didn't win the job or they hired a different company, something we cannot control. The homeowner changed their mind after submitting a valid request. Unfortunately, this does happen, but again, something out of our control at the time they submitted their request, and we spent money on your behalf to acquire that lead. Well, again, there was a valid request and intent. The homeowner is shopping. I have an old saying that I share with folks: shoppers are buyers. So again, just because someone's looking for pricing does not make them an invalid lead. Quite the opposite, and we do not credit back for that. Affordability concerns, we do not discriminate against anything as far as socioeconomic or have the ability to target only for certain income levels. So again, someone's inability to qualify for financing or affordability will not be a reason that we credit back based on our policy. Language barriers, all of our sites are done in English. So again, someone went on our sites and if they used a translating app or something of that nature, either way, this is something that you should be used to in your local market. You're dealing with people that speak other languages in your local market. It's no different of a lead coming from local homeowners. So this is something we do not credit back for. If you receive a lead from a different lead generation company, either before or after receiving the lead from us, this is a point of contention for some folks. They don't want to pay for leads multiple times. However, there's nothing we can do to control that. All of our leads are exclusive. We acquire them exclusively and we deliver them exclusively. If a homeowner chooses to go to another site, submit information, and is receiving quotes from other folks as well, that is something that is out of our control. On a side note, many of our clients that do get a lead from multiple sources, it's tended to benefit them because they see another company vouching for them, and that often weighs heavy in the homeowner's mind when they're choosing which company to go with at the end of the day. So another case where you already have a client in your CRM or in your database before receiving the lead from us. Again, there's no way for us to know this, and there's no way we can control this. And we don't put a time frame on projects to get started. So again, if someone is in the planning stage, they're not ready to hire tomorrow or get to a contract, not ready to start immediately, that's something out of our control as well. It doesn't change it from being a valid opportunity, but it obviously is a little more frustrating. You're not going to be able to contract to do the work immediately, but it doesn't mean that you will not in the future. So we do always recommend to continue to stay in touch with those folks and make sure that you're doing everything you can to cultivate that relationship. Now, we do go ahead and let you know that if you submitted a credit request as well, what will happen if it is found to not be eligible for credit? And there are some cases, and we make sure everything is transparent and crystal clear for you, of when you would get rejected. We want to remove the frustration, but at least make you aware. If you are reporting the lead for credit after the reporting period, we have a window to report in. If the deadline's not met, we do not look at that as an eligible credit. It's being reported for credit due to non-contact before the minimum required 3-day process. So for example, you called a lead, day 1, didn't hear submit that for credit saying I did not make contact. Well, again, we have a bare minimum process of 3 days. If that's not met, of course we're going to reject that for that reason. The lead was delivered for a task which is appropriate for the category, even if you don't offer the specific type of work or service that specific type of property. Case example, we have an electrician that we work with that is a great client of ours, but they do not do whole home generators. Most of our electricians salivate for leads with whole home generators. It's a fantastic lead for the electrical category. So again, just because one company does not do that, or you might not have a certain project type you do, if it falls under the umbrella for that general category, it is a valid opportunity. There's nothing we can do to control that. Next case is the only reason for the credit request is incorrect or invalid physical address. As it says here, we do not require an accurate address for a lead to be submitted, and often homeowners are a bit standoffish because they don't want to put an address in, not knowing who's just going to randomly show up at their home. So obviously we never suggest our clients do that. They should speak to someone and set up an appointment, but just because the address is, the physical address is invalid or a bad address, that's not a reason that we'll credit back. Only contact info like phone numbers or emails. Often clients just submit, say, give me credit, but they don't provide a reason. So we did make sure that was clear, that you don't provide a reason in the notes to determine the lead credit request. We'll notify you, and you can always provide a reason, and we're happy to assess it based on what you submit to us. Clearly, if what is being requested does not match a valid reason, which we just covered, on credit based on the lead credit policy, will get rejected. The verification team, as I mentioned, they call every lead, text, and email. If they have information that is contradicting or differing from the reason credit is being requested, again, we can only go on what the facts are, and those are facts that we have from the homeowner, and there are numerous circumstances for whatever reason, hypothetically giving you a case. You speak to a homeowner and they didn't like the way you approached the call. They didn't like your name, they didn't like your company name, any number of things, and they just tell you, well, I'm really not interested. I didn't really want to make an inquiry for quotes. Well, we speak to the homeowner, and the homeowner says, I just didn't like their company, I looked them up, I didn't like what I saw, whatever the case may be. But that's what they shared with you, and they shared with us that it was a valid request. Obviously, that's the information we're going to go on. The other side of things, rarely, but occasionally, we are very expeditious in processing credit requests. We take our contractors' information that they share with us, and we give them credit based on that unless we have differing info. As a result of that, sometimes we do get information a day or two after we've already processed a request, so we do reserve the right to reverse the decision if necessary. Again, this is a rare occurrence, but again, we do reserve that right. So again, this is our credit policy. There's a lot of reasons that I go through this with folks. The primary one is I want to make sure you have complete clarity, complete transparency on what we're about over here. And at the end of the day, we want to provide you a great lead, a great opportunity. And if it doesn't meet a genuine opportunity for you to do business, then we don't believe that you should pay for it. And most of our clients would tend to agree with that. So I appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully this has been a helpful tutorial for you to understand our credit policy better. Feel free to reach out to us here at conXpros, or if you are a client, to one of our account managers that's dedicated to your account to get any assistance or answer any further questions you might have.